Alright, you guys, hello. So I haven't done one of these in a very long time just because I was doing a different vlog format. I was actually doing daily vlogs for a lot of this year, but due to posterity and just, I know a lot of you guys that have been interested in my health journey, you guys have really been, you've really enjoyed the playlists that I have on my channel about my health journey. And so I felt that it was best to kind of talk about my experiences just in vlog form and just kind of update my playlist, future audiences, and anybody else of how my spring 2022 to summer 2022 experience has been, as we're now towards the end of summer in late August. And let's get into it. So, over the spring, I was having, over kind of like where I last left you guys, I believe it was towards the winter. And in winter of 2022, I was kind of in a phase where I wasn't as anxious. I was more depressed, like more sad and low energy, that kind of feeling. And just very much like kind of slogging through my work, but I was also healing a lot. Like over March, I had a lot of healing. I reached a sort of midline point in March, particularly towards the end of the month, where I started to feel like very good. Like I was in a very good mood. I was, not depressed, not anxious anymore. Like I was becoming the type of person that I want to be, that I envisioned myself being someday. And it was really nice. But as the days got longer and the sun came out more and the days got warmer, it started to boost my thyroid to the point where I was then actually, fat burning was accelerated and healing was accelerated, which means estrogen was being dumped. And so from about April until, well, it wasn't quite as bad in April. I was still okay in April, but I got really sick. I reached a point, I believe, in my hormones where my immunity kind of went down, where I was in between, or I was in a weird spot. I used to get sick a lot when I used to go paleo back in the day. I don't know, so I feel like for me personally, there's some type of stage where my hormones are switching or something, and I just am more prone to getting sick. So I got very sick in April, and I was coughing a lot for quite a while after that. I was coughing for probably like 2 months or so, or like a month at least, maybe even 2 months, because it was kind of still going all the way up into June. But I would say from mid-May, I really started to feel a difference. I was kind of experimenting with just eating fruit. I was looking at, how does my body react if I don't eat certain sugars, and I just eat fruit. And I felt interesting. It was because I had reached a point where I was trying to eat sugar and stuff over the winter and even the spring, because I was trying to slow down the estrogen. It was just really, as we got closer and closer to summer, it was really, really intense. Like, and when I say I was having like estrogen symptoms, I mean like my mood was very sour, like in the sense where I wanted to fight with people a lot. I actually got in a lot of internet drama over that time. I also was really, I had a lot of energy, but it was kind of like a frantic type of energy. I also experienced a lot of insomnia. My insomnia returned at night, where I couldn't sleep at night again. And I was dealing with having these, episodes of feeling very itchy, like all over my body, feeling very, having to rush to the bathroom at times. I was still having my estrogen episodes once or twice a week. It was just very, very strong, and it kind of kept getting worse. And it was just getting stronger and stronger and stronger as the summer was coming and it was getting hotter here. And, I had to buy some new clothes as well this summer because I was dying. Like last summer, I think I was just so cold, or like my thyroid was just dead, so I wasn't feeling the heat as much. This year, I absolutely had to get shorts. I never wear shorts ever, but I had to because it was so hot here. I could not handle wearing pants. So I've been wearing shorts since early June. But I'm just saying that's a huge difference because last summer I still wore pants the whole summer. Like I continued on like nothing. I didn't change anything. But this summer it was just so hot. I was so sweaty. I was dying. Like I just couldn't handle it. And so eventually, like, I couldn't do just the fruit carb thing anymore. I was like, I'm dying. Like, I am trying to get some relief. I couldn't really get relief. Even when I was eating other types of carbs, like juices and, other types of things, I just could not get relief, And so it was building and building and kind of getting worse and worse. And I knew that it was probably going to pass at some point. But I didn't know how long it was going to take. And it was kind of overwhelming. The feeling of estrogen flowing through my veins. I looked sick. I had dark bags. I looked pale. Like, I would get comments on YouTube and stuff that I looked ill, which is really nice. Because I was going through so much like detox and likely fat loss as well, because like I said, when you're burning that fat, you're releasing the estrogen, and your liver and thyroid have to catch up. And it was just building really, really strong because I had already strengthened I'm guessing it's because I had strengthened my thyroid last year, and it was now summer. It was going into summer, it's the time of the year when your thyroid is the strongest, and it's actually the easiest to lose weight in the summer. So I was just feeling it really strongly. And I was kind of dying a little bit. And I was just rolling with it. I'm like, whatever. Like, I'm getting into this drama. I'm fighting with people. Like, I'm doing it. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I didn't care because it kind of gives you this volatile type of vibe, and I was really just trying to kind of get it out online or get it out like on Twitter and stuff, and then kind of keep my personal life in order because I didn't want my personal life to go into shambles or have any issues there. So I was like, I'll channel it. I'll channel my need to fight and my need to that feeling of like this is how it feels when your estrogen is surging. It's like you just feel like, and that continued into July. And then I had like a big moment in July. But over time, like it was hard, like I was having a hard time focusing. I was having like times where I was feeling sort of like I said, like a little bit attention deficit, like I couldn't pay attention to things. I was having a hard time focusing on things because it felt so intense. It felt like a dam had burst in my life, and it was very, very strong. But it was strong, however, my other aspects were also strong, so it's like it felt differently than it did last summer. Last summer, I felt very scared and like insecure, and like I just wanted to like kind of stay to myself, and I just felt really, really sick a lot of the time last summer, especially going into August of last year. I felt so ill in August. I just felt like I wanted to throw up all the time. That was last year though. This year, I would get nauseous as well. I even feel dizzy at times because it was so intense. But at a certain point, at about mid-July, it started to wane. And it was like, what? And I was like, oh my gosh. And so even when I was doing my vlogs, I was starting to say, like, it's starting to go down. I'm starting to feel like it less. I'm starting to feel less estrogen-y. Like, I don't feel like it anymore. Like, it was starting to get better. So from, like, mid-July, it took a huge dive. Maybe it was even early July, but towards July, it started to go down. And then I just felt really tired. So I actually was feeling really, really different. Like, I just wanted more peace. And I was really low energy. And I was kind of stressed just because I was going to go on a trip and stuff. And, like, I was trying to figure out my finances and stuff to go. And it's the slowest time of the year for my work is July. So it was a challenge. But overall I did pretty good, and I was, totally fine in July, and I went and did a trip. I went to California, and I spent my birthday with my friends and stuff, and it was really nice. And on my trip, like, I struggled with low energy, but it was really fascinating to go back to California and see how differently I felt. And some of my issues with California were legitimate and some of them were hormonal. And so when I was there, like, I would struggle sometimes where I'd get into my moods. I get kind of pissy a little bit, like I used to all the time back in the day. But it would pass. It would go away, and then I'd be okay. And overall, I had a really good time. Even with a knee injury, which I fell and I had horrible road rash on my knee right when I got there, like the next day. And I had to walk slow and stuff, but even still, I was able to keep up with my much thinner friends. I was okay. Like, I could walk fine. Like, I wasn't that low energy. I was more in shape than I remember being. And so it was kind of a good reality check for me to go, because it showed me, like, I want to live a more active life, and I want to be doing things and going out and, being with friends and stuff a lot. And just, it was kind of like reminiscent of how my life used to be, and also how I want my life to be again. But it was like, flying on the plane was really hard. Like, I'm still so big. These issues were still there, and so it kind of showed me, like, going to California in late July was kind of a reality check of, your health is so much better. You are doing so much better. It was like I had greatly recovered from where I was in late 2020. I do not think I could have even done that trip until this July, because I just didn't have it in me until then. Because you have to realize, my friends are very extroverted. They're very intense. Like, we were out, we were doing things for like 8 hours a day at least, if not longer. Some days we're out for a really long time. So, like, we get up at like 9:30 or so, be out of the house or be out of the place by 11. And then we went out, like, and on my birthday, I think we were out till like 1 p.m., 1 a.m. or whatever. Like, it was just very, very go, very, very, very busy a lot of the days. So that's what I mean. And like I said, I was able to do it, even with a knee injury. And so I felt pretty good about it. And like I said, it showed me how much better I had gotten, especially how much better since the start of this journey in March of 2021. When I was going out to eat with my friend in March of 2021, I felt like I could barely talk. I was so, like, like, just my whole persona and just personality was completely different in March of 2021 than how it was. When I went back, all my friends they told me, like, it felt like you never left. And I don't mean to cry because it's kind of cheesy, but it means a lot to me because I worked really hard to get myself back. Like, really, really hard. Because I was not me anymore. I know, one of my friends who helped me move, he saw how I was then. And I wasn't really me anymore because my health was so bad and my hormones were so off, and I was really, really low. As I've told you guys, I felt like I could possibly be dying all the way up until, February or March of this year. But especially January, I felt a lot better. I felt like I was turning a corner in January. I felt like I was going to be okay, even though I knew I had a lot more to do, and I was still very sick. So that trip in July, it was that reality check of I'm so much better than I was. I'm at least restored to how I used to be in the eyes of my friends and, everything else. And I also have the stamina to be going and walking and moving. And my mood was really good the vast majority of the time. Like I said, I only got pissy maybe like once or twice in the week that I was there, which was really good for me. And it just showed me, like I said, how far I've come, but yet how much further I have to go. So it was a very weird feeling because I just felt like I felt satisfied in my progress, but I didn't feel anywhere near done. So it's like I'm healthy enough to get on this plane, but I'm not healthy enough for this plane trip to not be utterly miserable. I'm not thin enough, or I'm not heavy enough for it to not be utterly miserable. And so it was tough. But I did okay. I stayed on my diet. I did eat a lot more when I was there. So I did gain a little bit of weight. But the other thing that happened in July is a wonderful friend got me this scale in July, and the scale gave me fat percentages. And so over July, I was experimenting with it and weighing myself and seeing how my fat percentage changes over time and how it fluctuates and just everything going on with it. And it was fascinating. And I felt like that scale, because I knew that I couldn't trust weight as much, that scale gave me accountability in a way that made sense. And it also vindicated everything I had been saying, because my muscle was very high on the scale. Like, even in terms of, it has a little app and everything, it's awesome, but I weighed myself on that scale, and it told me that I had about 157 or so pounds of muscle, which is insane, because when I measured my muscle pounds way back in 2012, I only had like 124. So I had put on at least 30 pounds of muscle, but likely more, because in late 2020, I was so atrophied because I hadn't walked or done anything the whole year. And even going into 2022, I had gone to the gym a bit in November and December, thank God, but I started a more active job in January, and I could not handle it. Like, the walking all the time, my knees were in so much pain in January and February. But I think that active job combined with this lifestyle, I built a lot of muscle this year, and even probably last year as well, just because of the hormone shifts and when you become a bit less adrenal, and you have a higher thyroid, you don't burn off your muscle. So every muscle that I've been gaining, I've been maintaining, basically. And I was eating a lot last year to help recover. So when I measured it, like I said, from 10 years ago, I put on at least 30 pounds of muscle, It's likely much more than that because in 2020 I wasn't doing anything. And even up until March of 2021, I was not doing anything. I was pretty atrophied. I did go to the gym a bit in early 2021. So that did help me at that time. So it's been like a pretty slow process, but all of 2020, I barely moved. And so it was really building back from nothing. So, anyways, seeing that this diet, I had maintained my proteins in my body, I had built muscle, and therefore I had also lost fat because my weight had stayed the same. I was vindicated. I was completely vindicated by everything I had said. I had been telling you guys the whole time that I'd been putting on muscle and burning fat. That proved it. I don't know how much because I didn't start, by measuring this, but it was still really, really cool to see. So from there, the scale gave me a bit more accountability, and I started considering my calories. Now, when I came back in August from my trip, because like I said, I went and had my birthday, and of course I ate a lot and I had fun or whatever, but I stayed on plan. I did not have poof. I didn't have any chimichangas or anything like that. Like, I had a cassava flour cake on my birthday. I had, I had a gluten-free rice crust pizza with no, nothing, no PUFA in it or anything. I still stayed strong on my birthday. And so when I came back in August, I said, okay, let me see how this goes. So I started weighing myself more and more, and I just kept weighing myself every day just to keep track, and I saw it kind of go up and down. And I noticed that when I went on my trip and I ate more, I gained, and then when I was eating less, I lost. And so in August, I've reached a point now where my metabolism has healed and my thyroid has likely healed to a point where I can actually, my body has returned to a calories in, calories out standpoint, which is huge. Because a year and a half ago, it'll be a year and a half in September 15th. But just about a year and a half ago, my metabolism was fucking crazy. And it was not that way whatsoever. Now, it literally is, if I eat more calories, I gain. If I eat less calories, I lose. So that definitely changed my perspective. And not only did I lose, but I lose fat. So when I measure, if I've stayed in a calorie deficit, I will weigh myself, and my muscle usually goes up. So my muscle will go up, my fat will go down. So that means I'm in a very strong state hormonally for weight loss. And so I started cutting calories. I haven't done drastic cuts. Right now I'm eating about 3,000. I don't count it. I'm not super anal about it. But I try to keep it within range because I was eating about 4,000, sometimes 5,000 a day when I was in kind of more of that maintenance phase, or that phase where I wasn't paying attention to calories just because I was trying to heal my hormones. But now I've started, I cut it down to 3,000, just about around there, and I've been losing, and I can sustain it, and I've actually healed further from doing it. So instead of cutting calories being a huge detriment and an absolute shit show like it used to feel, and like I used to feel like I was starving to death every time I did it, and I used to feel all these insane feelings of depression and anxiety and all this stuff when I used to cut calories before, I don't feel that way anymore. I do feel a little bit adrenal at times, where I feel kind of like anxious, or I'll feel like, mostly anxious, or even a little bit, I don't know if paranoia is the right word, but a little bit, just because I'm like, my body is like, what the fuck is going on? You know, when you cut calories, your body is like, so over August, especially later August, or mid-August to late, I've really been focusing on nutrition. You know, I made sure I started taking vitamin E. I believe I may have been experiencing some low vitamin E symptoms. And so I started taking a supplement and I feel much better. I was even having some vision issues, or like the way that my eyes felt weird. So I will say, for anybody doing this long term, as you probably should, for the interim and for the beginning, until you get rid of most of the PUFA in your body, you should be having a vitamin E supplement. And there is a specific one called Tocosorb, which is natural and it's from palm oil. And so I will put that in the description because it's really important. So I would make sure that you take that. I wish that I would have taken that from the beginning because I was having some low vitamin E symptoms. Not anymore because I've been taking it for like a couple weeks. But that was important and I should mention that. The other thing is, because I'm cutting calories, I have to focus a lot more on nutrient-dense food. You know, and also my metabolism has changed even further from cutting calories to where, you know, I ate some candy a couple days ago and my body, I experienced a sugar crash, which I don't think I've experienced that in a very long time, if ever. Because most of the time I would get that sort of carb crash from like starches, not sugar. Like, as somebody who was very hypo, eating sugar only ever gave me energy. And so to have it make me tired, it was such a weird feeling. And I'm still kind of adjusting to that because I'm not used to not having the incentive to eat candy. Like, now when I think of eating candy or sugar, I'm like, ugh. Like, I don't want to feel tired like I did, and it's weird. And I was talking to one of my friends, and she was like, you know, all my thin friends used to say that to me. It sounds like you're becoming more normal, like you're becoming like a thin person. And I was like, oh my gosh, what? That is crazy. So I've been, like I said, I've been kind of adjusting to that, and I'm going to lean into it because, as I've told you guys, I'm not going back. There's no way in hell. But that's basically what my experience has been over the spring and summer. I just wanted to get you guys all caught up. I will say I am losing weight pretty consistently. I'm within 2 pounds of being lower than I've ever been since I changed my lifestyle in March of 2021. So if that happens, then I can finally confidently say that I'm losing weight. So right now it could technically still be a fluctuation, but I'm so close. And I will keep you guys posted on that. And as I lose weight, hopefully in the future, I can give you guys updates on that along the way. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.